Hey, Ms. Yeah, I'm making a pronunciation guide. A lot of you requested that, and we used to have one, but evidently I didn't realize it had been taken down, so I'll just redo it. And I guess I'm getting a cat. There's probably going to be lots of cats coming across my lap when I'm making this video. I gotta focus. I haven't had any focus today at all. It's been hard. So I'm talking to Traverse at the same time on AIM, and she's doing an incredibly good job at a Photoshop of one of the, ironically, the gods of cats, Navri. So she's basically saying she never wants to see the crazy, horrible, made-up face that was the god of cats in the wiki ever again, and I don't blame her. So she's doing a Photoshop, and she's doing a really good job. So check out the new picture of Navri if you haven't seen it yet, because, you know, kudos to her. So anyways, I'm going to start with regions and break the regions down by cities and maybe talk a little bit about each city. Not a whole lot, because otherwise this video will be really long, but just to get the pronunciations out there. But I don't want to be like reading off a list, because how boring is that? Anyhow, just maybe some funny anecdotes or things you don't know about. Hi, Mooney. Or hi, Lovey. That you don't know about the cities as I go through. So I'm just going through the role play list. So if you see me like reading off something, it's because I'm reading off something. And sometimes I get my pronunciations a little confused too, so don't worry about it. Anyways, it's Mizahar, but a lot of times we say Miz when we're just shortcutting it. I don't know why that happens. Ignore Lovey. She has to be part of everything. She's probably going to be super jealous here in a minute and come down and sit in my lap. Hey, girlfriend. She's my love bug. Okay, so we're going to start with Silira. It's pronounced Silira. The god is Silir. The region is Silira. The city is Siliris. Do you know how much grief I've gotten over that from GP? GP used to tease me all the time when people got that confused. Okay, so Nika is the city of monks. That was GP's conception. Its claim to fame is the aperture, and the weirdest shit in the world comes out of there. They don't have any food. They control all their food. And the monks just basically rule the planet from that city right there. So I don't know what else to say about Nika. It needs a storyteller. If somebody likes to do a lot of monk roleplay, or the monks are, the way GP has always described it to me, is the monks are thugs. They're total thugs. They're sanctioned thugs, and they have all the food, so they can get away with doing it. So that's Nika. Anyways, the next city is Ravik. And Ravik is Giller's mastermind, and the city of Rysel. And 5-second synopsis is that the god controls everything on this enormous city that floats in the middle of the lake. And Rysel hears all the prayers of that people make to other gods there. He can choose whether or not they go on to the gods that they're prayed to. But he controls the weather, he controls the atmosphere, the temperature, and he has pretty much everybody on the floating city fooled that he is the bee's knees, if you know what I mean. Okay. So the next city is Sahova. And, you know, of course, it's the land of the undead and scary magic things. And GP's conception, Tarot. Oh, by the way, GP is Tarot. I hardly ever call him Tarot. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to remember to call him Tarot. But to me, he's just GP. So, anyways, he captured that whole area for his own development and turned it into a fantastic city. The next one is Sunbirth. If you guys don't know how to pronounce that, I don't know how to help you. Originally, when we designed Sunbirth, it was going to be this fantastic, beautiful, gilded city by the sea. And then Liminal happened. Since Liminal's been around lately, you guys kind of maybe have had an introduction to Liminal. And you know that he is the king of melancholy and depression and horrible things. And so he just saw Sunbirth and That gilded just tarnished so fast it wasn't even funny, and it turned into like a complete and utter city of chaos. They're anarchists. Don't organize Sunbirth ever because they're against organization. The whole gang thing, yeah, I laugh at that. Anyways, moving on. Siluris. Siluris originally was my brainchild. It was supposed to be an entirely contained city within a huge castle. So, like, circling around it in a helicopter, if there were such things, or as a Zith, you would just see a fortress city. You would not see a sprawling city with streets. You would just see a fortress. And everybody lived in that fortress. Subsequent storytellers have not followed that vision, and now it's sprawling all over the place in this yucky, generic castle thing. But eventually we'll destroy the outer parts of Siluris and put it all back in the castle like it belongs. Because that's how we roll. I guess I just have to smooze Nightmare or something and get him to do it. Anyways, moving on. Zeltiva, the university capital of the world. All the knowledge is supposed to be stored there. Or great deals of knowledge. Again, they don't have any food because, Zeltiva is developed in this little valley with a great port. No agricultural land. There's timber around, but it's pretty steep. So I would imagine most of the timber they've harvested and are managing it. And, every 60 years they get a good harvest and that's it. The rest of their food comes from fishing. And they have the biggest navy, if you could call it a navy, in Miz. So, and just like a little point of fact about Silura as a region, it's made up of deciduous rolling forests. Not a lot of conifers there. Not a lot of deep wilderness. Not a lot of, Traverse is going to beds. Bedsies, as she calls it. So, she won't distract me anymore. But, not a lot of, big coniferous trees. Not a lot of mountains. It's really, really friendly for agriculture. That doesn't mean it's easy to move around in, and it doesn't mean that it's too friendly for people wandering in the woods. It's really not. So, moving down, Akvatar Island, or Isle, home of the Akvatari, and its capital city, Abura. I'll let Liminal tell you about Abura because he evidently has big plans for it, and not sure what those are. Well, I know some of them. Let's be honest, I know some of them, but not all of them. And with Liminal, things are subject to change, so, you just have to let it go as it goes. Conti Isle, otherwise known as the White Isle, is home of Mura. So that's where all the Conti live. Ladies are everywhere. Gentlemen, if you ever want to go visit, you will be popular. Okay, so Taldera is the next region. And Taldera is filled with a huge biodiversity. They have on the southern, I'm like talking with my hands, on the southern side, down below, there's huge rolling forests. Think of the redwood trees on steroids. And then moving north, it turns into steppe land, and then it turns into, the basically sort of Greenland type land of ice and snow. So the trees get smaller. There's like 200-year-old trees that are this tall up north. And down below, there's like, 10-year-old trees that are 100 feet in the air. So anyways, that's Taldera. That's also where all the Taldarian, aka dire animals, come from. There's no Taldarian rhinos or, if there's no reason for an animal to be in that biome, that areas around like Karjan, which is a city that's undeveloped. If you don't have an animal that comes from that type of environment, I just made air quotes. It was cute. Then you're not going to get your dire Kalvik approved. Like no dire walruses and that kind of stuff, because Avanthal doesn't have a lot of dyers. The only reason Avanthal has, the city Avanthal, I should tell you that. That's the Morwen city, goddess of war. Okay, so, goddess of war. No, goddess of winter. Lovey's distracting me. She's biting me. She likes to do that. She grabs onto my leg and just, because I'm not paying enough attention to her. So we have Avanthal up north. I lost my train of thought. I know I was talking about something I forgot. Avanthal up north with Morwen, city of winter. And then we have the Spires. And it's not Spires, it's the Spires. Get it right. Don't shorten it. It's annoying. And then we have the whole Wildlands. Ow! She bites hard. The whole Wildlands is called the Northern Reaches. And we kind of ignore the Taldarian forests down south when we talk about the Wildlands. And we're more talking about the Steppies because that's where the majority of the Steppies are. When we put Karjan in, then we'll get a wilderness going around Karjan that has giant animals and stuff. And that will probably be the Karjan forest or something. So the next region down the list is Cyprus. Cyprus. Don't put a P in it. Keep the P out of Cyprus. The Dricus city, the moving city, is called Indricus. Just like it's spelled, Indricus. And then we have Kanash. You know, where all the plantation barons are. Will you stop biting me? She's a bad little kitty. I'm going to throw her off my lap. Bad little kitty. Okay, so all the plantation barons are in Kanash. Kind of like ganache, that yummy chocolate stuff you put on cake. Then we have Riverfall. If you can't pronounce Riverfall, you need help. Yeah. And then there's Zai with Castle Zai. And Gillard's like right over there, so if I say something that he wrote wrong, you'll hear it, I'm sure. And then of course there's the Sea of Grass. Cyprus is a pretty cool region. You should come roleplay there. It's probably one of the most developed regions on the game. It even has a map, which makes me happy. Maps make me happy. Sunbirth now has a map too. That made me happy. And I think we're going to get a more detailed map of Levette. So once that happens, oh yeah, Levette. But we're not in that region yet. We can't talk about it. Can't jump ahead. We're in talks with Mirage. He burns hot and cold about Levette. It's seriously funny. That city either makes him giddy or he's tearing out his hair. I really rather enjoy that. Okay, so the next region is Traverse's region, Falandar. It has Taloba, home of the Myrons. Black Rock, home of the Ghosts. Zinra. I like that city. Like, Zinra. Like, can you imagine like the sports chant for that? It'd be great. Home of all the Dani. Yes, they're considered Dani. Oh, she won't go away. She won't leave me alone. She's like, Mommy, I gotta be on your lap. Then we have Charbosi. Kind of like charbroiled. The Dani would charbroil. Sharota, sorry. I was like drawing a blank. She's gnawing on my leg again. Then we have Psycha. Like, psych! You can tell I'm an 80s kid. And then the Jungle's Wild. So, moving on, Kalia is the next one. Kalia is like the freaking Himalayas, people. Do not try to go overland on anything in Kalia. There's no overland routes. You can't walk into Kalinar. You can't walk into Levette from the flip side. You have to take the ports. I don't know how the spider people get to Kalinar. I'm sure they have tunnels or something. Maybe they utilize old Azure tunnels. Anyways, the cities. Alvadas, City of Illusion. Fable's now moderating there. He's doing a good job. He's doing a killer job, in fact. I wish we had like a million more Fables. Then we have Denval, the infamous blown up city. And, Lovey, really? The infamous blown up city. I think Liminal was like a little pouty about that happening. Maybe he was like, they blew up Denval when I wasn't paying attention. She's trying to play with stuff on my computer table. Then we have Sultros. Sultros is probably my favorite city in the game. Like, my whole favorite culture. I think it's probably because I'm doing a role play with my character where Gillard is really talking about the Azure. It's amazing. Like, I think I'll forever call Azure the kingdom, because if you want to talk about crowned kings and their whole court and history stretching on forever, the Azure are probably the people that have that. They have nobility. They have everything that all you players always want all the time. They have. And they're just amazing characters. They're amazing cultured people that, I mean, they just rejected humanity forever. So they've been underground, and they live amazingly well underground. And they're They're kind of to the point where they don't have the numbers, but they have the technology and they have the know-how that if Mizahar ever got into a serious situation, if somebody could talk the Azure into like rejoining the real world and helping out, the Azure would save everybody because they're the shit. I don't know how else to put it. Okay, so moving on, Kalinor is where all the Simonestra are. I don't know why you guys pronounce them so weird, Simonistri or whatever you say. It's Simonestra, like Simenestra. Okay, so Levette, think Corvette, Levette. Zintilla is the goddess that rules there. We're doing some massive changes to the Alvina. We're adding a ton more Alvina. We're stripping all the Alvina that exist now of their gnosis. So Zintilla is the only one that's keeping her gnosis, and that was because she was a super powered goddess at one point, and she basically sacrificed herself to heal Samil after the Valtarian. So she gave everything for her mother. So she's an Alvina, but there's a potential plot there eventually. So, all right, moving on. Windreach, if you didn't figure it out, there's no helping you. And the Unforgiving. Called the Unforgiving because you can't traverse it. Okay, so Ektal region. This is the desert. This region is closed. The reason it's closed is because, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Ink is doing a huge revamp of it. And bless her heart, I don't know how she's doing it because it would drive me crazy. Anyways, the cities, I'm not going to talk about them because, like, I don't know what they're going to look like when we come out from the other side of the revamp. The only problem is there was a lot of reflected history of Egyptian-Jewish conflict. It was almost a mirror image, and we don't want to be the copycat roleplay site out there that borrows heavily from history, so that's Barnabas in the background. He's my little barnacle. He'll come cling. Anyways, we're redoing that, so I won't talk about it until the history's all done. And then I'm sure Ink will probably do a big video because her videos are awesome and entertaining, and we love her. So she also goes by Emissary, by the way, if you're confused on that. So we've got Anatep, we've got Yellowbaugh, we've got Eloab, High, and the Burning Lands. High is probably not going to be an actual city when we get done. It's probably going to be a roleplay zone. Okay, and then elsewhere, we've got the Suvan Sea, the Outer Oceans, Divine Connections, which the Outer Oceans are going to change. We're just going to go to the Southern, Northern Ocean, Eastern, Western Ocean, because we want to, again, take the Egyptian influence out. Dreamscapes, and then we have other dimensions and worlds. So don't get confused. If you're having a dream, dreaming, you're in Dreamscapes. If you're messing around with Nicel's gnosis, then you are dream walking and you're on other dimensions. You're in the Shavina. Anything that takes place in the Shavina belongs in the other dimensions, not in Dreamscapes, because dreams are just you smoking the crack pipe and sleeping, if you know what I mean. Other dimensions and worlds, if we ever do off-world roleplay, which is, there's a huge potential to do that, we can do that. That will also be in worlds, so other dimensions and worlds. So this video is almost 20 minutes long for just pronunciation, so I'm going to shut it off now and then upload it, and I will do one on the gods. And then I'll probably do races. I don't know what Barney's chasing. But there's like a million bugs out, because I don't know if you can hear. You probably can't hear in the background. I've got the windows open behind the blinds, and there's a million frogs in my yard just croaking. It's so beautiful. It's like the middle of summer. And I'm sitting here in my shorts, and it's like, it was almost 70 degrees here today. And every window in the house is open. It's just beautiful here. I can't even imagine what the people on the East Coast are going through with like 5 and 6 and 7 feet of snow. It doesn't even feel like February. So anyways, I'm going to let this video go and upload it, and I'll see you in a few minutes.